Welcome to the next installment of EMP's Offshore Connect, where we interview leading figures in the offshore oil and gas industry for their opinions and insights. My name is Jennifer Presley. I'm Senior Editor, Offshore for EMP Magazine. Joining us here today is Mark Hall, President, Kongsberg Oil and Gas Technologies. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate the coming to visit our offices here.
So Mark, for those not familiar with Kongsberg Oil and Gas, could you please tell us a little bit more about the company?
Yeah, it's interesting because Kongsberg is very well known in Norway. We're a Norwegian-based company that was founded in 1814. So we actually celebrated our 200th year anniversary on March 20th, which is quite a success story for us. And Kongsberg Oil and Gas is the newest division of the Kongsberg Group. So we have oil and gas, we have a defense division, we have maritime, which is very dominant in the market, and then we also have aerospace and, interestingly enough, remote weapon systems as well. So we're really focused on providing solutions in drilling and wells, subsea, production assurance, and environmental monitoring domain.
Could you please share with us what some of the key technology trends you are seeing in the offshore oil and gas industry?
I think the biggest things we're seeing in the use of technology and technology trends is the increasing focus on operational efficiency. A lot of this is related to asset integrity during the operational phase, even during the drilling phases. We also see increased focus on the reduction of capital costs. Obviously, costs have escalated tremendously, particularly in the offshore industry. Clearly related to that too as well is safety as a top concern. So this operational effectiveness and operational efficiency really is the top priority. We also see environmental monitoring, environmental protection as a key component. This really comes into the whole license to operate, obviously not only in the U.S. but internationally as well. So to meet those objectives, we provide solutions related to those domains. We have our SiteCom product line, which is in the drilling domain. We also have solutions in subsea on asset integrity, riser management solutions, for instance. We have various dynamic process simulations and flow assurance technology, which is used throughout the life cycle of asset development. And then what we really see also is the integration of intelligent hardware with software. And we provide that through some solutions that we have, our subsea storage units, pig launchers, and things such as subsea heat exchangers.
What are some of the ways that the offshore oil and gas industry has benefited from the application of technologies?
I think, as I mentioned in the last question, the asset reliability is a key area. So all the technology that can help your asset extend the life of the asset through the operating life cycle, improved environmental performance. Clearly, everybody wants to operate in a site in a safe and environmentally effective manner with minimal impact on the surroundings. I also see ongoing real-time production modeling and simulation so that you can model what's going to happen before you actually start production all the way through the life cycle to real-time operations and productions. I think another key technology area is the concept of subsea factory. I think that's become an exciting new area. We're seeing more and more technology show up on the seabed floor, both to reduce costs as well as to increase environmental impact. This also, I think another new area is application of new technology in harsher environments. So as we go into the Arctic regions, for instance, it's going to take much more new technology, as we mentioned, in asset integrity, environmental monitoring to operate in those environments.
Where are some of the areas in the exploration for and the drilling and production of hydrocarbons that technology could play a greater role than it currently does?
I think the biggest focus there is we need much more integration of technology and data. I think throughout the oil and gas life cycle, there's still a lot of point solutions and a lot of individual solutions and hardware solutions that aren't integrated with software. I think this is going to really become important, particularly as the workforce ages. We need to have a way to integrate the knowledge and technology going forward. I think this also applies to intelligent hardware. So we need to have the hardware has the analytics built into it, so it has software capabilities, early warning systems and analytics into a turnkey solution.
In designing new systems and software, how does Kongsberg Oil and Gas stay ahead of the technology development curve?
So I think at Kongsberg, we invest heavily in research and basic sciences, both internally and in conjunction with leading academic research and industry partners. I think one of the key differentiators we bring is we are partly owned by the Norwegian government, which invests heavily in technology advances and is very supportive of advances in technology. So more than 10% of our revenue is folded back into basic research. So examples of this include the development of new corrosion models that we've integrated into our flow assurance solutions. We're also able to bring together the technological advances in our other divisions, which include aerospace and defense and maritime. So obviously the research dollars that we spend in that is we apply to the oil and gas industry. And then also our philosophy is for the use of open industry standards, which allows us to grow with the industry and become flexible and then provide additional resources throughout time.
So one of the industries you mentioned was the defense industry. Could you provide some examples of how Kongsberg's helping in that field?
Yeah, and I think one of the great success stories we have is with our AUVs, the autonomous underwater vehicles. They were originally designed for military use for minesweeping in harbors and areas such as that. We've now applied them to do subsurface mapping and pipeline inspection, and they can be outfitted with a variety of sensors. And we also make high temperature or high pressure cameras and lighting devices. But recently, when the Air France flight off of Brazil went down, they spent 2 years looking for the black box. Obviously, this has been in the news quite a bit. So the Kongsberg AUV technology was what was used to locate the black box after 2 years. So it was able to go down to, I believe it's 10,000 feet of water or even deeper, and locate the black box by going up and down the ocean floor through the prescribed plan that it was set, and located the black box, and then it was able to be retrieved. And that was a great success story. And obviously we see a lot of focus on that now with the Malaysian Airlines. Again, it's in harsh environments, it's in a remote area, it's in extreme water depths, and that type of technology is exactly what we provide, is that technology for extreme depths and extreme conditions.
In keeping with the theme of this year's Offshore Technology Conference of coming together, could you please speak to the importance of both internal and external collaboration to the design process?
Yeah, and I think collaboration is actually one of, I think, a key differentiator for Kongsberg, and is very exciting to us. So actually collaboration is actually defined as one of our core values, along with determined, innovative, and reliable. So as I may have mentioned, we work internally with our other divisions. So we collaborate with our maritime division, our defense, aerospace, and weapons systems. So an example of this is our integrated environmental monitoring solution. We're actually able to leverage our solutions from our maritime and defense organizations. We use autonomous underwater vehicles to do subsea mapping and subsea inspections. We actually use satellite imaging for advanced oil spill monitoring, which comes from our KSAT division. Hydroacoustic communication and subsea sensors is another hardware product manufactured by our maritime organization that we can leverage for the benefit of the oil and gas industry. Another example of collaboration in the industry is in our development of LETAFlow, which is our dynamic multi-phase flow simulator. So this is a joint industry program with ConocoPhillips, Total, Sintef, which is a research institute in Norway, and Kongsberg, where we combine both our industry expertise, the industry partners, client requirements, leading research capabilities into a next generation flow assurance study.
So with OTC right around the corner, could you tell us a little bit more about what products you'll be showcasing?
So at OTC, we're excited. As we mentioned, we actually collaborate with Kongsberg Maritime. So we'll actually be showing our subsea factory solutions, subsea storage units will be shown there. We'll actually have some of the components for our integrated environmental monitoring, some of our subsea sensors. We'll be highlighting LetaFlow, which is our flow assurance solution. And then we'll also be highlighting our SiteCom Well Advisor, which is being developed with BP, as they call BP Well Advisor, which is one of their technology flagships at OTC this year. And we'll be happy to see everybody at booth 3917, I believe.
What is the biggest challenge facing the offshore industry over the next 5 years?
And I think clearly we've seen this from the operators as their biggest concern is rising costs and the capital costs to develop new platforms. So I think they're looking at more ways to operate in a safer manner, how they can duplicate their successes from previous platforms or previous installations. And particularly as we move into harsher and more adverse conditions such as the Arctic, we're going to have to look at ways to streamline our operations, which is why I see this integration of technology and best practices as the way to help keep down those rising costs.
What is the technology, in your opinion, that holds the most potential as an enabler for ultra-deepwater developments in remote locations?
Yeah, I think increasingly we see the focus on high integrity and high pressure, high temperature solutions. We see many of the operators have robust systems now or programs in place to try to address this high pressure, high temperature situations. So I think developing these robust asset integrity solutions, proactive monitoring, and environmental solutions will be an integral part of being able to deliver to these ultra-deep operations.
Mark, thank you for joining us here today. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, and this was a great opportunity for us. I think the biggest thing, Kongsberg is very well known in Norway and not so well known here in Houston. And, we're obviously integrally involved in the oil and gas industry and love the opportunity to speak with you today.
This concludes this month's installment of E&P's Offshore Connect. We'd like to thank Kongsberg Oil and Gas and Mark Hall for their hospitality today, and we look forward to seeing you next month. If you'd like additional information regarding the E&P Offshore Connect series, please visit our website at www.epmag.com/offshore.